Hello, everybody. Thank you so much for joining us. We've got quite a big crowd today, so we've got a few people still logging in. So we're going to give everybody about 2 more minutes. So grab a cup of coffee and we'll get started in about 2 minutes. Thank you, everyone, for joining us. If you're having any difficulty with the audio or connecting into GoToWebinar, feel free to give us a call at 248-247-1040, and one of our techs will help you get logged in.
All right, Colleen, can you hear me?
I can. How are you?
Good, how are you?
Good.
All right, I just want to make sure I'm sharing my screen. Or my webcam, I mean, and then I'll be able to share my screen. All
Hey
right,
there.
Are you sharing yours?
I am going to do that, unfortunately for the poor people on this call, but hey, everybody.
All right, so we had 90 registered, 91 last I checked. So do you want to maybe wait another minute or so, Colleen, or do you want to get started?
I think let's give them another minute. We had a lot of people logging in. Again, if you're having any difficulty with the audio or logging into GoToWebinar, there's a number right there on your screen of 248-247-1040. That will lead you right into our technical support, and they will assist you and help you get logged in. Taylor, did you get a chance to have lunch? We've been working harder than ever these days. Did you get any lunch today?
I did. I had some leftover tacos and fed my 2-year-old, and now she is laying down for a much needed nap. So.
Hey, Colleen, Taylor, can you hear me?
I can hear you.
I mailed you that stuff I said I was going to mail you.
Awesome. Thank you.
You're welcome.
I feel safer already.
What would we do without you? You're the best, Dave.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, we've still got quite a few people logging in. Again, if you are having any difficulty getting connected, I see that Wynn is here. Great to see you again. I'm glad you were able to make it back. Let's see. Good afternoon, Roger. So nice to miss seeing everybody's face in our classroom, but I guess this is the next best thing because we at least get to hear from you.
Couple more.
And Janice had a good question. Sorry, I've already got a question regarding the PDFs. Will they be emailed out? I apologize. It looks like there's a lot of different PDFs on here. It looks like Instanet and Authentisign. And this is going to be a little bit more mixing it up. We are going to have more detailed instructions that come out. What we are going to be creating some checklists for sellers who are taking photos and virtual tours. So I will get those out. As you know, we're kind of doing these classes on the fly, as nobody expected this would be the case about a month ago. But yes, Janice, I will make sure that the flyers get out. As a matter of fact, I will follow up with you afterward to see which one didn't make it out to you. And you're probably looking for I believe Dave mentioned it was the temporary active no show with the 5 criteria. Janice, is that the one you were looking for? If it is, I will email it to you directly after this class.
All right. Well, let's just get started. I'm sure we'll have people hopping on slowly. The attendee list is slowly growing. So I don't know if Colleen, did you have a chance to introduce yourself yet?
I didn't. You go first.
Okay. All right. Well, good afternoon. My name is Taylor Fidoa. I do communications as well as teach the photo program here at MiRealSource, and now mixing it up with MiRealSource Variety Show. We're going to do these weekly. Each week we'll have a different topic that leads into something that's maybe relevant going on that week, especially with everything ever changing every day, or based on feedback that we get from attendees. If there's certain topics that you would like covered or guests that you would appreciate, please let us know, because we're going to be coming up with these every week, bringing you helpful content, relevant content to what's going on. Only 30 minutes, so we're going to dive in here quickly, give you an overview, talk about some other classes that we have if you want something a little more hands-on and in-depth. And throughout the event today, we'll have a couple questions, trivia questions, and you can win some prizes. And then Colleen, you want to introduce yourself?
I would. My name is Colleen DeLang. I am staff at MiRealSource, also been a realtor for now 22 years. Yes, I got my license when I was 2, Taylor. I know that's what you were thinking, right? Makes me feel old when I say 22 years. But I just want to thank everyone for taking so many of the classes. We had 177 register for our remote and paperless class. I think it was the last class or the class before, and like 60 and 70 people each time. It's been great to hear your questions. I know there's so many questions right now. But I'm loving watching how many people are taking this time and doing something creative with it, like taking great classes to hone up their skills, to figure out how to work in an environment where we have to stay home. And really that is kind of what we put together, Taylor and I, is how do you do remote showings? That's everybody's question. How are you promoting these properties? How are you doing virtual open houses? And so that's really where we're going today. And Taylor's done an outstanding job putting together a lot of these classes very quickly. So thank you. And then I guess we should, we should also.
She's being humble.
It's the big hair, it gives it a. And we should also introduce a very special panelist on the call too. We have Dave DeReese, our CEO at MiRealSource. Dave, can you say hi?
Yeah, hi everybody. I want to thank Taylor and Colleen for putting all this new content in all these classes at such a rapid pace. It's been really wild and crazy ever since the governor's order last Monday. Our tech support calls have more than doubled. The people attending these webinar classes is up over 12 times what we would normally have. There's been lots of new interpretations of the governor's order that seem to come out every day. The most recent one was Monday that came from the Department of Insurance and Finance that clarified that inspectors are considered essential services and can leave their home to do work along with appraisers. So the thing that does remain in the most recent interpretation is that brokers and agents cannot leave their home to do business. So that is still the case. So that's why it's so important that Taylor and Colleen have been putting all this content together on how to do business from home. And if you look at your market monitor in Paragon, you'll notice that new listings are still coming in, things are still going pending, things are still closing. So it's important that we all learn the new ways of doing business. I want to also thank Colleen for the video that she did. I sent it out as a link in my letter from yesterday, showing you how to set up your listing and showing time for a virtual showing. And she shows you in that video the workaround which you need to use. Currently, we have been in talks with Showing Time. Brian's working with their programmers. They're going to add a section for virtual tours, so watch our communications. We'll let you know when that comes out. The other thing Brian has been working on is working with the programmers from Black Knight to change the way open houses are done in Paragon. And I can announce to you that that will change. That change will be out next Wednesday, a week from today, on April 8th. There'll be a place for you to put in virtual open houses. The way we'll do it is at first that'll be the only thing you can do, and then once the governor's order is lifted, then you'll have the option of a regular open house or a virtual open house. So again, I'll turn it back over to Colleen and Taylor. Thank you guys so much.
Our pleasure, our pleasure. So I just want to make sure that everybody can see my screen at this point. Taylor, can you see that okay? The update that Dave just gave?
Yep.
And also, Dave, what Dave was just referring to. Dave, you want to talk a little bit about, and I've got it up on the screen right now, so hopefully they can see that. Do you want to talk about everyone who was named? I know there were a couple people you were sure about.
This is taken from the interpretation that came down from the Department of Insurance and Finance that says that title companies, inspectors, appraisers, surveyors, register of deeds, and notaries are all considered essential critical infrastructure workers and can continue to do their work. You'll notice the very next sentence, however, says that real estate brokers and agents do not constitute critical infrastructure workers and thus may not leave their homes. So that's why it's so important that we help with how to do business when you're not leaving your home. And one last thing I would add is that's the State Department's opinion. Always, always, always check with your broker to see what your broker's policies are as it relates to title companies, inspectors, appraisers, things like that. But the thing to know, even once you check with your broker, it's still against the governor's order for an agent to leave their home to go and meet an inspector or meet an appraiser anywhere. You can't do that. That's not allowed.
All right, and so one thing I forgot to mention is throughout today's presentation, if you have any questions, please feel free to type them in the question. It depends on your browser. Some say chat, some say questions, but please, if you have any questions, feel free to jump right in there. We'll all be taking turns sort of manning those questions.
Somebody did ask me if that video was sent out to everybody. Yes, it was sent out in a letter that I put out yesterday, and it did go to everybody. It went to brokers, secretaries, admins, agents, appraisers. It went to everybody.
And you all are muted on your end, so if you have anything to say, just use the chat or questions, or you want to chime into the discussion that we're having, use the chat or /questions section that Colleen mentioned. Colleen is going to start with virtual tours and some tips and options available for you in our system, and then I'm going to close with how to run a virtual open house.
All right, so thank you, Taylor. And as Dave referenced, I'm gonna, I want people to understand that business is still getting done. As a matter of fact, if you use your market monitor, which Dave referenced, I wanna start every class off showing you that in the last 2 days, there were 356 new listings that went into the MLS. There were 284 price changes. If you use our hot sheet, and a lot of people don't know where that is, but if you go up to search, and you put in status going to pending, and you search 1 day back, 163 properties went pending. So the question we have to ask ourselves is, do we want to be part of that business? Because there is business getting done. You've got to go out and do it differently. Yes, we have to do it literally from our living rooms, but it's still, people still need to sell. People have babies, people get transferred, people still need to sell homes. How we obviously showcase those homes and feature those homes, that's obviously what needs to change right now. So I'm so excited because we had a great agent who attended the remote and paperless class, and we showed you in that class how to assist your sellers in creating a tour of the home. Because in the old days, we'd drive to the house, we'd do a tour of the home or hire someone to do a virtual tour. But right now, because of the executive order, we obviously can't do that. So this great agent took our advice. She asked the seller to just grab her camera phone, and she literally walked through the house and just said, a few things like 2 bedrooms, 2 baths. This is what we refer to as a non-branded tour. So just basically the seller walking through the home and kind of giving a description of the home. And this agent did a great job. She asked the seller, I believe, for the photos, which were uploaded. And as you can see, the virtual tours and video tours appear on things like the client reports now. They appear on your report. And literally, the agent asked the seller for that footage. And then I actually added the tour for her today. There are 4 places for tours within your listing. And as you can see here, and I'm just gonna play a real quick second, I know Taylor's gonna kind of go into it too, but the seller just started outside the home. She's literally just, and it's a really cute little house on the inside, happens to be in, let's see, it was Point Woods. And as you go in, and you probably aren't hearing the volume through the call, but actually there, when you go to the listing itself, you'll hear the fireplace crackling in the background, the seller just saying, here's how many bedrooms, here's how many bathrooms. The seller just did a fantastic job of, obviously the seller's not a professional photographer, but they were still able to go through and allow people to kind of walk through the home, but obviously doing it virtually. So when you are...
I like how she showed it, like you're walking through the home, how you would experience it, and just showing each corner of the house and kind of panning through. It's definitely something to recommend to your sellers moving forward when they do these videos.
Absolutely, absolutely. And how you're going to add those tours. Now, I actually took the video file that she sent me to review, and I just basically posted it on YouTube. I posted it, it just basically made a link for that video file. When you're adding in those tours, what's important to remember is where to add them. So I'm going to actually open up this property, and I'm going to scroll down here a little bit so you can see it. We're going to go down to where it says compensation and tours. So right here, this is where we're going to put in our, we call them unbranded. It doesn't really say unbranded, so I want to call your attention to it. But this is where you're going to put your virtual tour or your video tour. And as you can see, I just basically posted a link right from YouTube of the video that she supplied. Now, the nice thing about this is, so we've changed it here, but this will automatically feed over to her single property website. So let me show you that. This is not something you have to create, by the way. This is done for you automatically when you put your listing into the MLS. So behind the scenes, what happens is we just create this single property website, and the benefit of the single property website is it's showcasing you and only you. If you share from a place like Zillow or another site like that, you're sharing all your hard work, your great video tour or virtual tour, which you can see right up here at the top, your photos, your comments. If you're sharing from other places, you've now just given it to the people who bought those zip codes. But the nice thing is that this agent, when she shares from the single property website, she's sharing her other sold listings, her other active listings. So they're only seeing information about her. So I just want to give a huge shout out to Cynthia. You did a great job. Your seller did a fantastic job. And that is a great way, since we can't go into the homes right now, that we can still go ahead and market those properties. Now, something new, we're working with Showing Time and Paragon, as Dave mentioned, because we want to make sure that you can do things like virtual open houses and advertise them, and Taylor's going to walk you through that in just a moment. But as Dave mentioned, we sent out a link this week that will also allow you to add these great tours right into Showing Time. And then the benefit of adding those into Showing Time is I still want to know which agents are interested in that property. I still want to take, the information of, yes, this agent is looking for, to see this property, and agents are still writing contracts. I just received one myself. They are writing contracts with the contingency that the buyer will walk through, when the governor's order is lifted. So keep in mind, business is still getting done. Again, the way we have to do it, yep, that's slightly different. And actually what I'm going to do is I'm going to open mine, since I don't want to mess up Cynthia's tour here.
Colleen, we have a couple questions about the links. One of them is, do we send the videos to you to have uploaded to YouTube, or do we do it ourselves? So this is something that you guys would do yourselves. Cindy actually sent this video to Colleen so that we could do this class event today. So she uploaded it to YouTube as well. So this is something you guys want to do moving forward. If you do not have your own YouTube account, it takes 2 seconds to create. Go to youtube.com, your desired email, desired password, and you upload that video file and title it the address, open house tour, however you want to label that. And that link will be available for you right underneath the video. Another question is, what's the difference between a video tour and a virtual tour? What we did is we just have 4 different fields for you, as Colleen showed, and that just gives you the option to do more than one style of promotion. So right now we're very limited to what we can do and who we can hire out, but in Paragon there's the option for 2 branded videos or links, or 2 unbranded videos and links. So we just have them titled differently so that people don't get too confused, but they all still work the same. It's just you want to have unique content in virtual or video tour. So an example would be maybe a photo slideshow that was done, and then another one would be a actual walkthrough with narration of the video. Once all this is lifted and things go back to normal, you could have drone footage, you could have like interactive floor plan videos, things like that. Commercials, a lot of agents will do a branded commercial for themselves and then like a commercial style for the property. So it's not that you that it's very specific to what your style of video. It's just you have more options and they're just labeled a little differently in Paragon.
Can I say one thing about the great question about do you send us the video footage? Chris Van Bell, who is another trainer for MiRealSource, and he's also been a longtime agent, we are actually hosting a class, and we are going to cover that. That class is tomorrow, and we are going to actually be covering how you can take your video footage and turn it into a link. So again, if you don't know how to do that, it's a very, very simple process. But if you just want someone to walk you through it, tomorrow between 3 and 4, we are going to be hosting that class. And we will show you how to do that. And you can do it yourself. As Taylor mentioned, it's very, very simple. Once you go in and create a YouTube channel of your own, basically put in your name and your information, it's very easy to do. But we do have tech support who will help you with that. So if you, and tech support, by the way, is free. It's 7 days a week from 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. So if you need a little help just walking through it for the first time, or maybe you can't attend the class on it tomorrow, keep in mind our techs will help you. So the last thing I want to show you too before I turn it back over to Taylor is what David mentioned, is that in showing time, what we just put out is usually in showing time, this is where you're going to go and you're going to set up your lockbox information, your combinations, things like that. But what you can actually do is, instead of putting in your lockbox combinations right now while no one should be showing properties, we can change that to other, and we can put in, we were doing a little testing here, so I'm going to take this out real quick, but we could put in something like a virtual property showing. And by actually labeling it right here, I can do virtual property showing. And then down below, I've added in the link to that virtual property tour. Now, the reason I want to still keep this in showing time is I want agents to still go in and get this information, and you can add even more information under attachments. You can add documents, things like if you have specific photos or you have specific bank addendums, anything like that, that can be added right through the attachment section. But I still want to keep track of who's interested in showing the property, because when this executive order is lifted, I want to be able to go back to these people. I want to be able to tell them, hey, you know, the lockbox code has been added back in. You can show it anytime if the property isn't already pending. I also want to be able to send notifications. So if that property, let's say I changed the price, we reduced it by $10,000, I can send a mass notification to anyone who was interested in that property. So I still want to draw them into showing time. I still want them to request it. I just simply set it as a go and show, and then it immediately sends out that link. So it's just another way of keeping track who would be interested in that property.
Can I add something to that?
Please.
The minimum that we want you to do is what Colleen just showed you, which is put in the video link. If you want to be a little more imaginative, you can also schedule a live event, for example, a video conference call for a half hour or whatever the time was, and you, the listing agent, could host that with the other agent and their buyer. So there are things you can do beyond the video, but at a minimum, you want to do the video. Someone also asked, are we going to review the videos before they go up? The answer to that would be no. It's very similar to the photos. We do not review your photos before you put them up. We trust that you will do the right thing, and we will not review the videos before you put them up. We trust you'll do the right thing. The way it works is if somebody puts up a video or a photo that is not appropriate, then someone will tell on you and tell the MLS, and then we'll get involved. So we trust you. So
the correction button, that's usually what we get. If something is wrong, then there's a red correction button at the top of every listing that you can report to our listings department. There's another question too. There's an option when uploading videos to make the videos unlisted, so it's not searchable. The only way someone could see and find the video is that they've been sent the link directly. So for privacy's sake, should we mark those as unlisted? Wonderful question, Mike. I believe I agree with you. If this is not something that you want totally public, it's something to talk to your seller about in YouTube. You have public, private, or unlisted. For when we were going through this, Colleen and I, it was uploaded as unlisted so that that link is only for who you share it with. Now it will be on the single property websites and how that's shared and such, but just finding it on YouTube, it'll be unlisted, but it wouldn't be private where they need like a password or anything like that. It's just, or where you only see it. It's only if you have access to the link. So that's a really good question.
And the other question was, what if the agent doesn't schedule through showing time? That's where the minimum is put a video in. But if you start doing a hosted live event, then there's a reason people would want to schedule through showing time, because they want to get the extra information that you, the listing agent, could give by answering questions during an actual hosted live event. So there would be a reason for them to schedule through showing time.
All right, so do you want to change presenters, Colleen, so we can go into virtual open houses and then have a couple giveaways? I
am sending it over to you right now. And it's nice because we have a couple organizers on here. I can actually see very quickly who you are, so I appreciate it. All right, yeah, you are now the presenter.
Okay, I think. Still
click
viewing.
that, click the little, there's a little screen or monitor in your GoToWebinar panel, the green one.
Yeah.
Click on that. There we go.
Show my screen. Okay. You guys should be seeing my Facebook right now, but I'm going to show you a screenshot of what is coming on April 8th that Dave briefly talked about. This is where you'll be able to check virtual open house. So there's no confusion about showing up at the property and surprising the seller or breaking the law right now. There is going to be a checkbox for virtual open house. It'll be labeled that way, and you can schedule it out very similar to how you do in Paragon now, but it's just virtual. So what exactly should you do for a virtual open house? So we have some suggestions for you. Let me open up my Facebook. As you saw the video that Colleen created, there are options for you in terms of events on Facebook. So what I recommend doing is creating an event and promoting that on Facebook and using the tour, and I have a few other suggestions. So when you're on your Facebook page, whether that's your business page or your personal page, however you choose to do this, if you start at a business page, you can then reshare it to a personal page. So keep that in mind. If you do it on a personal page, an event, you are stuck to your personal page. So the people that you invite from your personal page are the ones that see it. Where if you do a business page event and then share it to your personal page, you can invite people on your personal page, and then all of your business followers on your page can also see from there. So for this example, I just added it to my personal page. I went to more events. I already created one to show, and then I'll show you guys how to do it, but I'm going to show you already an existing one that I recommend some tips for you to take away. So I'm going to open up my virtual open house. Title it virtual. You want to have it virtual open house so it's clear. Plug your name, your team, your brand along those lines. You'll be allowed to schedule the date and the time and plug in the address of the property. Nicely shows them a map right there so they will be able to open it up and see. And then a nice description of the property. And what I recommend doing here too is just kind of letting them know that this is what's happening in the market right now. This is what's going on. Did you know you can still tour listings as they hit the market? People are still listing and selling homes. We're excited to share with you this beautiful 4-bedroom craftsman style home right in the heart of Romeo, Michigan. Gorgeous landscaping with brand new interior. So you're setting that expectation. You can still do these open houses and check them out online. Everything's virtual now. Another thing that these events allow you to do is to add a schedule. So this is a really cool feature because then you can go in and you can really make this an interactive event for the people that you invite. So when you create this event, you can invite guests to the event. If it's on your business page, you can then there'll be a little share option. You can share that to your personal page, also invite people. And then in that schedule, I recommend having an intro so that they know this isn't, there is a real person manning this event. So what you would do is you would actually create this event, and then you can go live right on your phone during the time of the event. Do an intro of yourself, your property. We're going to share a video of the property, and there's some other options too for you that I'll get to. Then I have a timeline of what they can expect. So whether it's a video recorded open house or whether it's something that maybe your seller is going to go live and they can do it right from the house and share it with everybody who's on the event. Then I'm going to close with a Q&A. So while that live video is going on, people can submit questions and you can answer them. They can ask, chime in with some comments. You can answer them live, or the seller could answer them live. And then close with something fun, a giveaway. Hey, share this live video, share this open house, share my event. We would love to get more views, more interaction, and if you do, then we will be giving away a small prize to everybody who shares, or we'll be giving away a prize to have a drawing. You'll get a notification of everybody who shares a video, and you can then choose one of the maybe 20 people that shared the video to get a prize. So when you are creating this event, there's an option to do a co-host. So this is what you will see. You'll be able to upload the photo of the property, be very specific. Oh, I forgot the word house. Open house, virtual open house hosted by the location of the property. Say a little something about what's happening with virtual open houses, promote the property, why they should care, schedule it out. Add a nice schedule, whatever you're comfortable doing for an open house, so that they know that this is really something that, takes half hour of their time. They can engage with you, ask questions, check out this house. And then you can make your seller a co-host. As you can see, I made Colleen a co-host. So while this event's going on, we both, me and my seller, can both have the event opened on our phone on the Facebook app, very simple, and you can go live and be talking right to the phone. And you can show the house as people chime in live. They can say, oh, go back to the kitchen. You, the seller, or not you, the seller can circle back around, show something in the kitchen. As comments come through, questions come through, the agent can then respond to those questions. Another thing that I recommend doing is create this event a couple days before the actual open house and then promote it, but just make it an engaged promotion. So throw a teaser photo in this event after people are planning on coming to your event. You could also do polls just to get people interested in what they're looking for. And just, maybe 3-4 days before the open house, go ahead and do this. Then they have the timeline. They'll get a notification on Facebook that the open house is going on and go live. Is there anything from anything else, Colleen? But I can just show, see the time. Ran over a couple minutes, but we did start a little late. So I'm going to show you guys the steps to do this.
Okay.
You're going to go to more, events, create an event. You would upload the photo from your computer, title the event, the address, the description, the date, the time, add the schedule. So you would describe what they would do. So I did an intro of the property and the agent. I did the tour, video tour, live tour. You can add as many things to the schedule as you want. Question and answer, and then a giveaway. And then go ahead and add your seller as a co-host, and they can go live with you. And that is what we recommend right now for getting started and doing virtual open houses.
So we have a couple really good questions, Taylor, that maybe you can help with.
Okay.
So I know we actually cover this in the remote and paperless class, which if you haven't taken, we strongly recommend. That's going to show you how to do everything remotely. One of the questions that came in is, once you have that video or photos from the seller, is there a form that you need, Taylor, to have the seller fill out to get permission for that?
Yes. So when your seller takes the photos and sends you over the video link to upload into your YouTube channel, you are going to want to have them sign over a joint copyright ownership. So I will show you guys where you can find that. It's right on our website, MiRealSource.com, under services, photo copyright documents. And then what I recommend just doing is giving them this joint copyright ownership, because then it's one page, it's simple, it's clear cut who's the owner. You guys both are. So the photographer or the seller still has rights to the photos, but you, the agent, and your broker will have equal rights to the photos as well. And in this, you want to make sure you add the word virtual video or virtual tour video, movie file, whatever you want to do of the virtual showings, open houses of the property, and get that signed over, and you should be all set. Any other questions, Colleen, I should answer?
Great question. Do you have any suggestions for maybe handling objections by the seller for creating a walkthrough? And what I can tell you is, for the Thursday class, which I keep referencing, that would be tomorrow's class, we're actually working on a checklist that you can actually send to the seller that will give them some pointers and the positives that will kind of highlight why they want to do that. Obviously, we prefer to be able to go there once the executive order is lifted and do our own, or hire our own photographers, or do our own virtual tours. But as we are all trying to do this remotely and get through this time period, we recommend that sellers, if they do want to sell their homes, people still have to see it. One thing I also wanted to mention is that Cynthia Ireland, I showed her tour just a little bit ago. She did another really smart thing, and I wanted to highlight it. She actually added the floor plan of the home. There are some, basically there's a couple different places that you can do that. There are some software that you can actually create a floor plan, or if the seller has a picture of their floor plan, because remember, they're trying to conceptualize this. They're not walking through the property. So I thought that was just a fantastic job. So again, Cynthia, thank you for letting us not only use your seller's tour, but thank you for another really good example of putting in things like the floor plan so that they can kind of see what the layout of the house is. And that with the tour really does help.
Yeah, I think it's a discussion to have with your seller, and why, like Colleen said, this list of what the value is. As you guys could see in Paragon, people are still doing business. Homes are still going pending. Now we know for sure that appraisers, title companies, and inspectors are still able to do what they need to do without this order getting in the way too much. So with all that being highlighted, as well as it could be a confidence thing and how they narrate, how they do it. So I'm going to be sending over a checklist of taking photos that I provide in my photos class, that you guys can then give. That'll be in the class as well, that you guys can then give to your seller so that they have some tips and tricks in taking pictures. And then this video is a really helpful, great example of how the seller could walk through the home. So it could just be a comfort level with them in terms of confidence, but also, why do I want to do this? Is it really going to make a difference? So between hopefully those two things, you'll be able to ease your seller's mind, and just, it's already a long process. Let's just get the ball rolling, and this isn't going to hurt.
Rick, one of my favorite people, Rick Landon, had a question. He said, what happens once the seller takes the video? A lot of times those video files are too big to go through email. We're going to show you some options for that tomorrow as well. That's where things like Dropbox, iCloud, and we know not everybody's going to be super tech savvy. So that's where our techs are going to be able to help you, give you some suggestions. That will be part of our checklist too, because you're right, you've got this big video file. How do they get that to you? So we're going to show you some suggestions to get those larger files from the sellers. And unfortunately, if you have a seller who's really not tech savvy, if they're really struggling, it may have to be in video clips, meaning that they may have to send you one of the downstairs and one of the upstairs. I will tell you, I just recently did one in my listing right before the order came down, and it was like 2 or 3 minutes long to go through the whole. It was just a condo, so it wasn't any, it wasn't huge. But we'll show you some tips and tricks on that.
My favorite, which I'm not sure exactly, but one of my favorites that I love for sending videos that we use in my family is the WhatsApp. So you can send really long videos, and the quality is great. That's my favorite. We send them between my family, my sister-in-law and her kids, and our kid, where they're not just, quick 30-second videos of our kids. We can actually, watch a couple minutes without any issues. So WhatsApp's a great one, as well as all the other stuff that you guys are going to be covering in the class too. And so follow along on how you would do that.
So we have another good question here from Julie, and it says, are sellers willing to take offers with contingencies of seeing in person, and for how long? And do the buyers pay for the home inspection? See your broker. That's kind of a brokerage question. I will tell you, I received one last week, and it was with the contingency that within that time period of the home inspection, that the buyer would walk through the home. So it was basically contingent on two things. It was contingent on the home inspection period, and it was contingent on the buyer going through the home. And then for the time period, they had referenced due to the quarantine. And so see your broker for the language. But yes, I will tell you, offers, a lot of offers are coming in that way. They know that the buyers can't walk through the home, and there's no inventory. So they're still wanting to make sure that they get first crack at the home. And so we are seeing a lot of those. Check with your broker on the language and obviously accepting the language when you do get that offer if it's your listing.
And then
Another good one, go ahead.
Connie asked us, how do you go live? It's very easy. You see, once you're in the event, there's a live video button. Same with on your phone. I recommend doing it on your phone versus trying to carry your laptop around. But you open up your event in your phone, and there'll be a live video, and then your camera on your phone is what will be recording your face, the house, and have that nice warm intro, good lighting, and then talk about the house, post the video, and then let your seller know that they can go live at what time you scheduled them to go live, and let them walk through that house and share that with everybody on the event. So good question. If you haven't done it before, it's right there for you, called live video.
Can I jump in?
Taylor, are you?
There was a question about, do you have to have the seller on your live event? And
No.
you do not have to have the seller. If you don't want your seller on the live event, you don't have to.
Nope, these are just options. So like right here, what I did for an example is I would do a poll each day, maybe a teaser photo again at the front of the house or something in the landscaping in the back that, you know, get excited to see this home, just like they would see it if they drove by, right? Then the intro where you're going live, you don't have to include your seller if you do not want to, and then post the video. Let them add comments, questions to the video, tell them to do that. Go ahead, answer your questions live while you're going live, you can do that. Or go ahead and answer them after the fact too, it doesn't matter. And then you can do a giveaway for maybe the best question, or a small giveaway for everybody who does share the event. And the live video, just because they maybe missed the event, they're an hour late to watching it, if they shared it on their wall and a friend of theirs sees it, they can still watch your live because it'll be stored on this event page.
Another really good question that we just had coming in from Jeff. What's the benefit for submitting a PA versus just waiting to see it after the order is lifted? I know I've been working with some buyers. They've been looking for a long time, and there's just no inventory out there. And so when a good house does get listed, so let's say, Jeff, you list something awesome tomorrow, and they're looking at the tour and they're thinking, this is just what we've been looking for. They may lose that house to another buyer who has written it with, you know, the contingency of walking through. So I think it's just due to low inventory. That's the big thing. Hopefully that helps answer your question.
And then what about the these tours, the fields, and how are they? They're obviously shared throughout all of our through Paragon. They're shared through our single property website. The unbranded ones are sent out to syndication sites. Dave, does it basically depend on the MLS that we share with on how they receive those virtual tours?
Well, actually, all of us are in communication. Everyone we data share with, we're in communication with. And for example, what I just talked about with the virtual tours that are going to be in the open houses for Paragon, we're already in communication with both the Great Lakes Repository, the Cure database, all that's being built. Now, for example, when it goes live on Wednesday the 8th, it may not be seen by every data sharing MLS that we data share with, but it will within days. It may not be immediate, but it will be there because Brian is working with everybody behind the scenes on data sharing that right now. And we also provide those videos to IDX vendors. We provide them to syndication sites. So those that are willing to take them will take them. So if you don't see the video somewhere, it's not a case of we weren't offering it. We offer it, but does that mean they're prepared to take it? But I think what you're seeing is everybody, because of the situation, everybody's in around the country. Everybody is scrambling right now to, if they don't currently take a video, they're going to. If they currently don't have a place for a URL for one of these hosted live events that Taylor showed you. They're all scrambling to add those. So everybody is scrambling right now to add all of these functions. So they may not all hit at the same moment in time, but eventually you'll see everybody will have them. We did have a question also, Taylor. They wanted the name of that app that you talked about for sharing videos. They needed to get that name again.
Yeah, my favorite app is called WhatsApp, because before I would upload it to my private YouTube channel and mark the videos.
Can you spell that?
Yeah.
How do you spell that?
What's, like the word what's, like what's up, but it's WhatsApp.
Okay.
All one word. It's also owned by, it's all Facebook, like Instagram, Facebook, WhatsApp. They're all the same, on the same server. But what's nice about WhatsApp is you can send really long videos, and they can easily be then just, they automatically can be added right to your memory on your phone, and then you could upload it to YouTube. So that's my favorite one. But there's Dropbox, like Colleen mentioned. There's Google Drive, a couple others. It just depends on which one you want to use.
Hey, Dave, Dawn actually had a question, I think more directed to you. If a seller accepts a COVID contingent offer, should that be marked pending in the MLS?
It should normally be marked pending, but as you know, we're in unusual times. We've already suspended rules. We've suspended having to put in the what do you call it, dimensions. We've suspended that. If it's clearly in the remarks temporarily, we probably would not fine anybody because it was active and it was spelled out in the remarks that it was one of these contingencies. We're in unusual times. Everybody has to be fair with everybody else and always communicate it. Don't keep it a secret. But we're changing rules, waiving rules, trying to get everything situated so that people can still do business during these times. But always, you have to communicate. There's plenty of room in agent remarks to tell everybody what's really going on.
Another good question. If you put a property tour into Paragon in the appropriate fields, do those property tours transfer over to RealComp and other data sharing partners?
Yes, they do. And that's what I was saying, though, that right now everything's changing. There was already going to RealComp videos, but now they're scrambling to add more videos because we have more than they have. So they're scrambling to add more. And the fact that now there's going to be virtual live hosted events, we're adding those, they're adding those, Paragon's adding those, Cure for the Great Lakes Repository is adding those. So yes, the answer is yes. Everybody is scrambling to add all of these things throughout all of the MLSs that we data share with. We're moving, I think, faster than anybody in adding them, but eventually everybody will have them. All of them will flow eventually.
And another good question is, if I missed a webinar or a class, is there a place that I can see it again? And yes, there is. We do recommend right now, because things are moving so quickly, we do recommend taking the live classes, because I have to be honest, we recorded one last Thursday. It's already out of date because of some of the things that the governor said on Monday. So, live is certainly best, but we are recording these. They are available in the MLS documents, which is right inside of Paragon. It's where you can also find the copyright form that you will need for that seller to give you permission to use the walkthrough and to use the photos. But yes, these are being recorded and you will find them in MLS documents. But again, it's moving so fast. It's always a great idea to take them live when you can.
Yep, there's a folder just called recorded webinars when you hit MLS docs in Paragon, and you'll see those. Another question that I saw earlier is, will we be getting the upcoming class sent to us? Every class that we have right now is on our class schedule. So that's where you're going to want to go to. They're promoted through Debbie, through myself too. But if you want to register for tomorrow's class, go to our class schedule, and you can sign up for it and be one of the first to attend the class tomorrow.
Hey, Taylor, can you show them where that is right inside the homepage of Paragon where we keep the class schedule? Do you have that up?
Yeah, I'm not signed in to Paragon, but let me sign in real quick.
Okay, and then while you do that, let me ask another really good from our friend Dawn. This is a good one. Are we waiving rules or just specific rules? We're not waiving all rules, obviously,
No,
but we are waiving the requirements for measurements, like when you normally are required to put in room measurements. We're not asking the seller to do that. We are waiving that. And then, Dave, do you want to talk about the temporary active no-show?
Normally, in a normal market, we required if it was active that you had to allow in-person showings. Obviously, we can't do that now. So yes, we temporarily suspended that rule so that you can leave it active and not allow in-person showings as long as you meet the 5 criteria that were in the notice that we put out several times. And can you tell them where to go find that as well?
Yes, the 5 criteria, and actually Taylor's going to show you something on her screen, but we're going to email it out. There was a few people who asked for it who were on this webinar as well. It will be,
but we can push it again if it sounds
that
like
would be great. We seem to have a lot of people who didn't get to see
Let me
it. So
ask you guys, I think I see it. I think I see it in handouts. I'm in the below the question. There's a section called handouts.
It
and I
is.
see
It's
that
attached. It's
says
attached. So many
5.
people were having a hard time finding it, but it is attached in your go-to webinar panel right now.
Right below
But
the
Taylor
for
said,
active listings. And then right here, you guys, just because we are going over by a long time, MLS docs, when you're in Paragon, we have recorded webinars, and then here's where all of our recorded webinars. So if once it's outdated, we remove it, but as long as it's still relevant, it will be in that folder for you guys. And then to register for classes, you can go to resources, class registration, or you can visit our website, and there's a link to register for classes on our website as well. So let's go in and do our giveaway, our questions that we have. So the 2 prizes today are going to be $30 gift cards to Google Play. So you will be able to purchase movies on your Google Play app, whether you have a smart TV, you have a Roku, or an Amazon Prime stick. Google Play is on those, and you can download and buy, rent movies, because I mean, when you're not working, that's kind of what we're doing right now, is watching movies. So the first question is, Colleen is sharing a map right now, and Colleen, all those green dots that you're seeing, who is the MLS system represented by these pink dots? First person to respond in the questions with the correct answer will win the prize.
so here's a little clue. They will be coming to your Paragon very shortly, early summer. You will have those pink dots, so you'll have all of that data. Who is represented in those pink dots?
All right.
And let me see who our lucky winner is here. All right, just to rephrase the question. Someone saying they were confused. Are we saying pink dots or green dots? We're saying pink dots. Who actually is represented with the pink dots?
What is the association / MLS that will be data sharing with us in June? They are the pink dots. So you will have all that data here, and hopefully June we're shooting for.
Should be around June 1st. It'll be about June 1st.
This is a hard one.
Yep. There's a couple that are close.
Yeah, a couple that are close. Nobody's nailed it so far. Is it,
All right,
Dave, is
let's
it
move on.
13, is it representative of 13 or 11 MLSs? Or associations? 11. Ah, we got one.
There we go.
All right.
Winner is Ed St. Aubin.
Good job.
Mistrick. So in June, shooting for June 1st, we will be data sharing in Paragon with Mistrick. So there will be all of that data you're seeing, most of, if not all of the west side of the state, lower west side of the state will be covered, and you guys can see that easily just in Paragon.
You can see who actually is, I'm clicking back here, you can actually see who
Every
Mistrick is, which different MLSs and associations make up Mistrick. All right.
All right, Ed, so I will email you the gift card. So it'll be a digital gift card that you can then use to download movies and rent movies on Google Play. And then the next question is, we have, given this new change of everybody being quarantined, we have created 2 new webinar classes, not this one, but we have 2 new classes. If you can name one of the new classes that we've released the last couple weeks, the first person to get